Congratulations, you played yourself.
So we can get into the episode. Welcome to the PopCulture Effect. I'm Rockin Rob, and on this show, I bring my closest friends together to talk about all the news happening in our pop culture world around us. Welcome, everyone, to yet another episode of the PopCulture Effect. It is, unfortunately, all dudes today. Trent's not here, but we got a full house. We got Menace.
Hello.
We got Blaze.
What's up?
And we have Subset.
Yo!
To get into what we're going to be discussing today, I've been waiting so long because I was a big fan of Pokemon, but I fell off ever since they locked it behind a console. So Blaze.
Wait, hasn't it always been locked behind a console?
No, because before in Ultra Moon and Sun, that was when they cut off the handheld versions of the games, and then they switched to console.
Handhelds are still consoles, though, Robbie. So your point is mute.
No, there's a difference between a handheld console and a mainline console, in my opinion.
Hey, Robbie, a Switch is handheld.
Oh, you're right. It's a hybrid. Ah, shit. Okay, either way.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
So we can get into the episode, the most recent Pokemon game. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so Pokémon Legends Z-A. I have been having a lot of fun with it. I got it on launch date, and I just beat the game, or at least the main story. I still have a lot of post-game stuff to do, but I beat the main story with a little bit over 40 hours of gameplay. Honestly, it has a lot to do, especially because I took my time and really went through all the side story missions that you can go through as the game progresses. More side missions will appear as you progress through the story. And there is
100% the game. Like, did you get everything? Because I know there's like little things to collect, and like
I'm working on it. It's going to be a long grind because there is 119 side missions, 42 main story missions, and then there's also completing the Pokédex and completing your field research, which with this one, it's interesting. It's almost like a leveling up system with the field research alongside the Pokédex, where you get points by doing certain things in the game, like catching certain types of Pokemon, completing wild zones of catching every Pokemon in that wild zone, which more wild zones appear with different Pokemon as the story progresses. It's definitely a grind to get 100% with the game, because to get to level 50, which is the final level for the research, that's where you get the shiny charm to help you with shiny hunting. Mm-hmm. One of the last research quests you have to do on there, I believe it was 1,000 trainer battles to get the final amount of points you need to get the shiny charm.
So just like running around into NPCs and battling them?
Yeah, when the nighttime, when it goes into battle zones at night, you pretty much just run around and just keep on doing a bunch of battles. But I think I've already done a little over 500 battles just from doing all the side missions and the main story, and how many times I've had to go into the battle zones at night just to progress through the story.
That does kind of make me a bit happier with how the game is, that even after 40 hours, it's not completed.
Oh, yeah. There's a whole lot to do. Like I said, I took my time. I probably could have barreled through it and got it down to like 30 hours. I was just really enjoying just kind of running around, finding a lot of secrets on the rooftops of the cities and some of the scaffolding. But going on to the main story of Legends Z-A, this game is the sequel to the X and Y games back on the 3DS. It takes place 5 years after the events of Pokemon X and Y, and the game solely takes place in the city of Lumiose as it's going through an urban redevelopment project where it's trying to make the city more of a harmonious, equal ground. You enter in Lumiose City and get caught up with Team MZ, who is a group of trainers who are trying to become the best trainers in the ZA Royale that's going on. So that way you can be some of the best trainers to help protect Lumiose City from the threat of rogue mega evolutions that are taking place, of Pokemon that are mega evolving without any bond with the trainer and just wreaking havoc.
Don't you need the stone? Are they just mega evolving even without the stone too?
Yeah, I think when they rogue mega evolve, they create the stone as they mega evolve, and that's how we're getting newer mega evolutions. Because when you beat the Pokemon in the rogue state, you get the stone. It was never strictly stated that it was creating the stones when it did that, but it kind of seems that way from gameplay.
Because I was wondering, I was like, how do they rogue Mega Evolve?
Without going into spoilers, there is a mysterious thing happening that is causing mega energy to flood through the city and attract a Pokemon and making them mega evolve.
Like Long Starmie.
Oh yes, Long Starmie. Oh my god, that the memes that are being made out of that is atrocious.
I will say I love the ones where they put them in the Patrick outfit from the SpongeBob movie.
Oh yeah, but the story itself, like I said, without trying to get into spoilers for it, there is a lot of references to Pokemon X and Y in the game, and I really love that. It's very rare we ever get a Pokemon game that kind of backtracks on the lore to show us stuff that happened in previous games, and I really love that they did that in this game. All the stuff that happens to the story leading up to the finale of it, I teared up at the end. I will be honest, it was a really good ending to a lot of characters' stories.
I'm glad that the story is going, because as we kind of talked about before this, the way that they're marketing this and some of the stories portrayed irks me.
As I say, what are your thoughts on some of the things so we can discuss about that a little bit?
Obviously, a point of big contention is the mega evolutions for DLC.
Yes, we'll be getting more mega evolutions with the DLC, but honestly, it's not something I thought. It's something I expected, because this DLC coming out is going to be a full-fledged story edition DLC with new places to go to. Because you're going to be, from the leaks that have gone out, we're going to be going to alternate dimension versions of Lumio City.
I hope that it's some change, because from what I remember of X and Y, you got to explore a lot of that region, and having it just be Lumio City, I could feel some people getting bored of it pretty quickly.
I can agree with that. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
Oh, you're good. I hope that these alternate dimensions are changed enough, even if it is more city. I also hope that you did say that there's story. I hope that it's not just some little, oh, there's portals opening up, do a few quests, and, now there's more wild zones. That's it.
You know what's funny? That's actually how they did it in Pokemon. I think it was Omega... No, it wasn't Omega Ruby. No, I think it was Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Either that or Sun and Moon. They literally were just like, oh, Hoopa made portals. Now you get to fight legendary Pokemon of across the timeline. I
have some hope for their story DLC for this, because the story DLCs they did for Sword and Shield and also Scarlet and Violet, those DLCs had pretty big story elements to them and lasted quite a bit. So I have pretty good hopes that the story should hopefully be decent. Hopefully they don't drop the ball on it, because it would suck if it's the only factoring thing about the DLC is the new Mega Evolutions. But I'm really hoping that the story that they add to those with it will make the DLC worth it.
They took away my boy Mega Steelix and Mega Caesar, and I'll never let them live it down.
But kind of going back to the story a little bit, and another one of my contentions. I don't want to go into it, but we all know the ongoing issues with Nintendo. And I know in some part of the story, I don't know how much of the story it really is, but you're essentially indebted to a big company, which is framed as the good guys.
Yeah. So... You're referring to a group in the city called the Rust Syndicate?
Like you took over the debt of somebody and you have to go and do jobs for them?
Very mild spoiler. It's debt from your teammate companion in the game, Tawny or Urbane, depending on which gender you pick, you get the other option. I played a male character, so I got Tawny as my teammate. Tommy's a dumbass. She...
Are they like your childhood friend, or like?
No, you meet them when you join the city. When you come into the city,
you just met them and you take over their debt.
Over their debt because they're too stupid to realize they needed to pay it off. And I do find it funny too. Is the leader of the Rust Syndicate when he goes to talk to you and your other friends in Team MZ about clearing the debt? He's like, "Listen, I'll be 100% front right now. I told her straight up, this is a bad idea. You're not going to make your money back to pay me back. And Tawny was just like, no, it's fine. I'll get the money back sometime later, because we don't really have an exact time frame of like when she initially did the loan. But we all find about the debt, confront her about it. She's like, oh, I completely forgot about that. How much is it? Oh, it's that much? Oh, I'm sure we'll get it figured out. And then proceeds to leave us to deal with it.
Stupid rando aside, from an out of story perspective, the thing that irks me about this is a kids game.
It is. It 100% is.
And it is promoting kids to take over debt and listen to the big mega corporation because it's the good guy.
Yeah. I will say, though, the Rust Syndicate does get portrayed as a bad group at the beginning, because the first thing you see about them is the whole debt thing. But they're not really a lone corporation. They're a group that wants to help clean up the city, and they get their hands dirty to make sure it happens. But some people on the outside see them as bad people. They don't do loans that often. And Tawny came to them for it.
They're a mega corporation.
Yeah, it is funny seeing a whole debt thing with children in a Pokemon game.
Mm-hmm.
Animal Crossing.
From what you told me from what you told me of the story, it seems like that kind of that's a B plot to the main thing going on. It's Nintendo digging themselves a deeper hole, honestly.
Yeah, I am curious though how much of the whole sidetracking here a little bit, the whole patent thing with Nintendo. I feel like it's more on Nintendo's end than Game Freak's for the whole like trying to pass that patent thing. Thankfully, though, like side thing about that though, the Japanese lawyers or whatever legal system they go through actually denied the patent, so it's back in rough draft phase.
They denied the patent for catching monsters with spheres. There were 2 other patents that did get accepted before, though.
But going back to Legends Z-A, though, I will say you do not need to get a Switch 2 to play Z-A. If you already have a Switch 1, it plays perfectly fine on the Switch 1. There's the only real difference between them is the frame rate. You'll have a higher frame rate on the Switch 2, and some things will pop up at a farther distance than others. But both games play just fine from what I've seen online. Part of that is probably due to the fact of everything being a JPEG on the walls of the buildings. That's probably one of my biggest gripes about the game, is that they just did JPEGs for the walls.
That was my final contention, was gutting of core mechanics, or just core experiences in Pokemon games. Instead of exploring an entire region, you have just a cityscape. The only other things are the wild zones in the sewers.
Yeah, you got the wild zones, the battle zones, the sewers.
The battle zones too.
Yeah, it's a lot of mostly alleyway and like rooftop exploration, a lot of it. Which
is it still like people walking around? Can you like talk and interact with people on the street?
There are tons of people all throughout the map that you can hear their conversations of. A lot of the side missions you get are from random pedestrians.
But you can't go into shops. You can't
go into the shops. You click on the door and it just opens up the shop.
I miss the days where you could just explore every building in Pokemon. That was the shit. But yeah, Blaze, I have a question for you. How have you felt about the new gameplay loop of, rather than building up badges and going to the Elite Four, you have to work your rank up? How has that kind of changed the vibe of Pokemon?
I kind of liked it. It was a nice refresh. I still think gym battles would be more fun, but that's kind of just because what I started with, that's what I grew up on, was the gym battles. I think this is a really fun refresher of how the normal Pokemon games, gameplay-wise, like having the cooldowns of your Pokemons and having them like run with you to trying to avoid attacks, while you're also trying to avoid getting hit as well. Chef's kiss. Beautiful. The gameplay is phenomenal in that regard. I will say, though, with the ZA Royale, it is fun. It does feel a little repetitive towards the end game.
But like, okay, my question is, post game, what is there even to like do? Because I know from a couple other games, a couple other Pokemon games, they had kind of a post game. Is there any of that, or are they just saving that for the DLC?
I don't want to go into far spoilers of it, but there is some post game stuff about the legendaries from X and Y coming into Lumio City.
You mean the big
Through the
deer?
events of the main story.
You
Yes.
also have like your normal collectathons, right? Like in normal Pokemon games, like you got there's like these crystals you can collect.
Yeah, isn't that
and
the
there's-
Zygarde thing?
No, so you don't collect the Zygarde cells in this game. Throughout the city, there are crystals forming called Mega Shards. You break those, and you can build up your collection of those to spend on Mega Stones for Mega Evolving Pokemon. Yeah.
Ever since the 3DS, it's been downhill.
I think they've been doing good. I think it's really just comes down to perspective of how you feel about old school Pokemon to new school Pokemon.
I think with the Legends series, they've been on an upturn, but the what was it? One or two Sword
Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield was good story wise, but since the Legend series, they have been on an upturn. It's more the company behind it being a company.
Yeah,
That-
I wanted.
So Blaze, how much better was Pokemon Sword and Shield when you played it on the Nintendo Switch 2?
You mean Scarlet and Violet?
Scarlet and Violet is what I meant to say.
And the gameplay difference is night.
Ah,
Instantly, no one's stuttering anymore. You see every Pokemon on the map at farther distance. Top of that, you can play up to 120 FPS. But yeah, I wish it would have been at that quality when it came out. Then all the gripes about Scarlet and Violet would never have happened.
My opinion is that they should have kept all the Pokemon games on the 3DS, because I feel like nobody would have complained if Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet came out on the 3DS.
But the 3DS was a bad console or
It was a bad
handheld.
console,
Either
but
way.
if you need the Nintendo Switch 2 to make that game better, like I don't know what to say about that. Oh,
It's
actually,
'cause-
I do know what to say about it. They don't fund their Pokemon games, because I recently learned that their budgets are garbage. It's like $10 million for a game that should cost like $150.
This one has had the Legends Z-A has had the lowest budget of any Pokemon game.
Yeah, and then when we look at the other games Game Freak makes, they make fucking masterpieces.
I think I just remembered one more thing too that Menace, I remember you having a gripe about with the rank battles.
The fact of Mega Evolutions being locked behind PvP, it's a thing in games I just have a gripe about, where they'll lock certain rewards in the most competitive mode of a game.
It's fair. That's a valid argument for people that just like playing the story mode of the game, not wanting to deal with anything multiplayer related. I'll be honest, I haven't done any of the rank stuff either. I've just been focusing on the story. They did address, though, that the Mega Stones will be available later on outside of the ZA Royale, and they have made it to where when you go into the next season, the stone from the previous season will be at the bottom of the ranking, to where you only need to do like one ranked battle and you'll get the stone, as long as you just didn't do horrible. Because like the Greninja Mega Stone was originally a rank K for season 1. Going into season 2, you can get the Greninja Stone at rank Y, which is literally
The second one.
the second rank above starting.
Okay.
And then they lowered it for the Delphox one too. Instead of it being all the way up to K, you can get the Delphox Stone at rank S. So you really only need to do a couple battles, and then you get the stones for both next season.
Is there any like news for when the seasons are over? Where do those stones just disappear? Do they go into the shop, or
They haven't said specifically what's going to happen with stuff like the Mega Stones once the seasons are fully done and those have rotated out, but they've kind of hinted at that it's just going to be in the game fully. So I'm wondering if you might be able to just buy the stones in the shops around the time when like the DLC comes out.
I could also see they do have the entire alphabet to go through, I'm guessing, for a ranking system.
The ranking system, yes. That's my little gripe for the story. you make a jump at some point in the story and skip a lot of those letters.
I can understand to pad out.
Yeah, so that way it didn't feel repetitive, but a lot of people kind of had a gripe about that because they really wanted to go through the ranks of it. But I feel like if they actually did have us go through from Z to A, I think it would have gotten really repetitive. So I'm honestly okay with the fact that they didn't have us go all the way through it.
Just as a little what if, I could see like if after the campaign the next quote unquote the next season of the tournament starts and then you could actually in endgame go through all the ranks. I think that would be cool.
Nah, this time you go up in numbers.
What you've told me has actually kind of brightened my mood on it, I guess, for lack of better terms. May actually look into a playthrough of it since I don't own a Switch.
Yeah, I wish I had a capture card. I would have just streamed what I was playing to you guys.
Now, see,
That's
I'd
fair.
watch that. Let me ask you, Blaze, is it worthwhile now that you have the Nintendo Switch 2 and you actually have games to play on it?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely would say, because they're still releasing Switch 1 and Switch 2 variants of the games, I'd say for the time being, if you still have a Switch 1, you don't have to switch to the Switch 2 immediately. Once they start doing Switch 2 games that are only on the Switch 2, then probably would be the time to start thinking about transitioning over. But a lot of the games that are coming out, you don't need to have the Switch 2 to play it at its full capacity. Legends Z-A being a prime example of it.
It just takes one developer to say, no, I'm only going to the Switch 2 for that to start, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they did kind of already do that with Mario Kart Worlds and Donkey Kong Bonanza, but from what I've heard,
That's their
people
poster
didn't
child.
really.
They're
Yeah,
gonna-
it's their poster child games. That's kind of inevitable. But a lot of the like secondhand or the third party games are still releasing it on both.
I'm also going to shout out Kirby Air Riders because Masahiro Sakurai is probably not going to make another Smash Bros. Game, so this is all we have.
See, I would get that game if all y'all had Switches and I could battle you guys in
I
races.
gave my Switch to
but
my
I'm the
nephew.
only one with
I'm
a Switch
sorry.
in this group.
See, the funny thing is, I've talked so much about how I wanted to get a Rogue Ally, but it's shit now because now I know what it actually is, and it's a lie, it's a farce. So now I'm actually kind of tiny bit interested in getting the Switch too. Smidge.
All the ROG Ally X or the Xbox ROG Ally X was an ROG Ally with Xbox
PC
controllers on the side.
But they didn't make that
PC
clear.
Game Pass.
I'm just gonna say they didn't make that clear. They were like, "Oh, this is an Xbox. Oh, this is a mobile Xbox."
They put the Xbox name on it because it has Xbox Game Pass now.
But that's not
basically.
PC Game Pass.
That's a PC.
And it's not even full Game Pass. It's just PC Game Pass. I did have one thing I wanted to ask and one thing I wanted to say. Without spoilers, do you think this is the last Legends game, or is there like some kind of sequel bait?
I heard this was random, like deep in the web, just doom scrolling. But I heard that they're planning on doing another Legends game within like the next 4 or 5 years in the Galar region.
You're gonna have to remind me what game that one is.
I believe that is Sword and Shield.
Oh, okay. I know nothing of that one.
But that was like heavy doom scrolling. It was mostly speculations at that point. But
Okay.
I think I really like the Legends games being on the side to just kind of hold us over until the next main title game comes out. I really like these ones. They have a more richer story than the main title Pokemon games, in my opinion. But I will say, Scarlet and Violet had a really good story, so I think they're just kind of upping their game in storytelling.
Yeah,
in general.
I think that's also because we know these regions from the mainline Pokemon games, so we're getting more fleshed out to that, which I do like. I hope they continue the Legend series with being like regions that we know, but with a different twist to it, or like in a different time period.
I will say, like, the cast of characters in ZA, oh my god. All the characters are amazing. So many returning characters come back older with different views on life and everything. It's like,
Is your character mentioned at all?
Your character from X and Y? There is a mention of a group of kids that thwarted Team Flare 5 years ago. I'm not going to say who said that quote, but there is mentioning of your character and their group of friends from the events of 5 years ago. And they mention the events of 5 years ago multiple times.
My last thing I wanted to say was that I hope that when we do get the mainline ones, I want it to kind of be a return to form. Like you're going up against gyms again. You maybe some like whatever region the new speciality is, mega, aloe, whatever. I feel like a lot of companies have started to realize that a return to form is like a refresh, return to form, not just like a soft reboot like COD and stuff like that, but like a full actual refresh is what we need.
Yeah, hopefully that is the case. But I think that's everything I needed to cover for ZA. Unless you guys have any more questions about it, I can try to answer.
The answer I'm going to give you is I'm probably going to find my Switch 2 on Marketplace.
That's fair. And when you play ZA eventually, you tell me how you think of it. I think it's amazing.
I'm kind of interested in getting Arceus, to be honest. I'll probably get Arceus first.
I'll definitely have to look up like a cutscene or a story, a lore video, and see it from a story perspective.
I completely forgot to mention. They mention like there is a whole museum in Legends Z-A that shows off stuff from Legends Arceus.
Oh, really?
Yes, and it is funny and scary, some of the things you find in there.
That's actually really cool.
But anyway, that's pretty much everything we have to discuss for this week. I want to thank all of my lovely compatriots and friends for joining me this week. Thank you, Blaze.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Menace.
Oh yeah, it was a good time.
Thank you, Subset.
Hey yo!
And if you are checking us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you are checking this out on the CJSW network, make sure to check out all the lovely content they have to offer there as well. And we will see you in the next episode. Bye!
Bye! Hey yo!